Hello YouTube, Mandy. Cam Reacts. Again, another video where it's not really at all focused on Korean pop. I apologize. But I thought I should share and maybe it'll help some people out there kind of process this tough economic times. So on my last update video, I'll reiterate again, I was laid off end of December last year, 2024. So it's been 2.5 months, a little over 2.5 months since I lost my position. So I've been on unemployment as I search for new jobs, and I just kind of wanted to give you what I call the warning signs of the fact that you may be laid off. So I'm going to preface this by kind of setting the scenario at my company. So I had 2 tenures at my last company, to total over 5.5 years of time there. I left. They wanted me back, so I came back. And I was a project manager, and the company was, well, let me back up and say I did see some warning signs, but I felt that there was a little bit of loyalty both ways between myself and my boss and the company itself. So I thought maybe we'll ride through the hardship together, and we'll make it out on top. And nope, I was let go. Pretty clear cut and dry. It was nothing. There was nothing muddy about it. When it happened, I was surprised that it did happen, but I was not surprised that it. I was not surprised that I was, and amongst myself and another project personnel was let go. So I wasn't surprised that it actually happened, but I was still surprised, right? I was caught off guard, to say the least. It's not. I don't think anyone's really ready to be laid off. Maybe they are. I've never been laid off before. I've never been fired or laid off before, actually. So this was a new experience to me. But yeah, it was, it's the 31st was a Tuesday. I was just doing my usual project stuff, talking to my project coordinator, talking to my engineer, making sure we're all on the same page, talking to some of the techs out in the field. I'm in the mechanical world. And yeah, it was business as usual on a Tuesday morning. And then one of the managers from another department came by and asked him, "Hey, we need to. Greg wants to see who was my my supervisor or manager, what do you want to call him?" So I mosey on over there, and it was pretty quick. I've known the guy for 8 years now. And he said, "Hey, what he said was we need to go in a different direction." What I'm pretty sure he had to say also that he chose not to say is that we're not doing well. To be honest, one of the first signs that I had a feeling my job was at risk of being eliminated at the very least, or at least letting me go, I should say, and potentially eliminated altogether, at least for the near future, was the fact that the project backlog was pretty light. I noticed I've been warning the company for since the beginning of the year, hey, we're gonna be light on project work as we get to the second half of summer to fall. I kept telling everyone that. I kept giving everyone the warning that we don't have the backlog to keep busy in the products department, and there may be some tough times coming up for all of us on the projects department. And it kind of went on deaf ears, but not that there was much they could do, right? Because the products had to be sold to survive, to come in as a project. So I did my due diligence in terms of providing foresight and giving a forecast, I should say, on the up and coming around the corner. Come June, July, the backlog did pick up, and we found there was lots of projects to manage, but that's when I first started thinking, I don't think there's enough projects in this company to warrant having a full-time project manager. And now, given I was managing 20 to 40 projects in different varying stages as simultaneously, but the workload, some of these projects are pretty small, like, maybe a couple hours of my time needed, and then some coordination, and then follow up, and then the work is done, and then we move on to the next one. It's very, very light, the amount of work I actually had. So that's my ding, 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 ding. That's my first sign. Lack of work, or starting to slow down in work and not seeing a pickup coming around the corner. Number two sign that I noticed in actually a little earlier than summer was a shift in management's style. And what I mean by that is we did have a leadership change at the beginning of the year, and what used to be open doors, transparency, frequent updates, no holding back, became a lot of hush hush, a lot of closed doors, a lot of, if you're inside the club, you're good, and if you're outside of the club, you're not. That's the kind of bullcrap I hate trying to do and be involved with, which is to my chagrin, I believe. But there was a lot of directional changes that would affect my department, and were not being translated to us. Were not being reviewed with me prior to implementation, or at least trying to implement. A lot of these strangely clandestine type moves. Like, it's all secret, it's all behind doors, it's all don't have time for you, or if they do have time for you, it's and I voice a concern, or I have questions, pretty generic answers, not a lot of follow-up. And it just wasn't the same environment that I was used to, in terms of if I bring something up with urgency, it's treated with urgency. If something that pops up and it's a little more, let's say, engaging than some of the other small issues that pop up, right, that I could take care of on day to day, there was a lot more engagement from upper management in terms of trying to be involved, trying to stay up to date. But at some point, it was just like, no, don't worry about it, I got it. Usually I'm like copied in the emails, or someone in the projects department is copied in the emails, so someone in the products department knew about it. That kind of level of open communication died. It just became a very oddly, for a small company, because it's a small company. The company that I worked for operated like a small company, but it was owned by a bigger multi-billion-dollar company. But they kind of just let this one in my area kind of be pretty autonomous. And it just, all of a sudden, it felt like this small firm became something a little more like they're trying to become corporatized. They're trying to behave in a way that's bigger than they actually are. And it's not like that's a big no, but the sudden culture change was my next sign that they're actively boxing out, right? In basketball terms, they're actually in, intentionally excluding us as in the projects department, um, in leadership talks and discussions about directional changes. It was like, that's odd. At the first few months, I was like, maybe they're just really busy with all the leadership changes. But as it persisted and continued, like, okay, something's up. And specifically, the products department is kind of the outsider looking in. Sign number 3 is, how do I want to put this? I kind of covered it in my last topic, but lack of engagement from management. I'll come up with, a reforecast. The project needed it, right? Maybe it was estimated incorrectly or budget was off and we need to reforecast so that the financial reporting is accurate and there's less whiplash when financials are reported to corporate, type of thing. Honestly, I just kind of stopped asking because they didn't care. At least that's what I felt like. I stopped giving them real updates because they didn't seem to care about them. I'll provide feedback. Went on deaf ears, and it felt like beginning of fall they were ready to put me on the chopping block. And I think they made the decision in December, like officially, to let me go. Probably, I'm not going to say I'm not at fault for being on the chopping block. So the factual reasons of being on the chopping block is, A, I'm part of leadership as the sole project manager and I'm running projects. B, I'm also one of the more senior members of the products department. There was only one person that's got more tenure than me there. And those two amount to, I'm probably one of the bigger overhead hits in terms of the products department. As in, I cost a lot to have. For a department where we are noticing a pretty significant decrease in the project's backlog, it just doesn't warrant having this person that's getting paid this much to run a products department that may not warrant it. But the other parts that probably, the soft stuff that kept me on the chopping block was likely, once I started noticing the boxing out, as I called it, the guarding of the inner circle, I kind of just tuned out from them, entirely. I just I'm done with you guys. I'm busy as it is. I'm reacting to, on a day-to-day basis, I'm reacting to a lot of emergencies or decision making that used to be things I discussed with them. They didn't, but they slow me down. They're unavailable. I have to make decisions, or otherwise my crew, my team are stuck. And then the customer is like, why did things stop? Right? Whatever it is. So I stopped engaging them as well. I kind of just said in my head, F you. I'm busy. I got to take care of this stuff. Try my best not to swear. B, I was admittedly a little resistant to some change. In terms of, they wanted me to let's say try to be more proactive instead of reactive. And I'm like, what do you mean? I make site visits. I make turnover meetings. I do a turnover meeting with the field crew. I do. I'm involved in every step of the coordination process. I'm like, what more planning can be done to avoid reactions and such. I was a little resistant to it, thinking, what else can I do? And maybe there were some avenues that I should have sat down and really think about it and then come back to them with some potential ideas for how we, as the products department and myself, can be more proactive in preventing disasters. Honestly, issues are probably the closer word than disasters. But a lot of them were actually out of my control, to be honest. So that mentality, though, probably kind of turned them off. Instead of being open and embracing that change, I was resistant and kind of like the old school mentality in their head. And that probably didn't jive well with them in the direction they wanted to go. So that's probably where my click happened, why it happened. The meeting went swift. They gave me a severance package. And like I said, I've known the guy for 8 years, my manager. And he was very brief. It was not easy for him, I could tell. And he was trying his best to be business. And I received it as business. Of course, I will say I'm still a little bitter about it. But I think it's more like because I've never been let go from a company before. It's never been out of my control to leave a company until now. So I think that's why there's a little pride being a factor in my bitterness. Trying to see where I want to wrap this up now. So that was my experience. I've been so New Year's rolls along. You know, it's New Year's celebration. It's winter break for the kid, for my son. So I kind of took it low key, hung out with my family and my parents as well, because my sister was in town and her family. They live in California and I live in Washington. So I decided to just kind of take it easy. Oh, I did want to mention another project guy, his last day, because he put his 2 weeks in, was the same day that I got let go. And so as he was leaving, he was saying bye to me. I'm like, hey, hold on, dude. I just got let go. Let me pack my stuff from the office, like my personal belongings, and let's chat for a little bit. He was a newer guy. He's been there for 2 years. He and I worked together a lot. He was brand new to the project, and so I took him under my wing, and it was kind of a mentor-mentee relationship that we had. We checked in. He checked in with me daily, and we were pretty close from a professional level. And so we went to grab coffee down the street before he headed home, and I headed home. And as that conversation was wrapping up, I was in my car and ready to drive home. My wife calls me, and she's like, hey, I was just wondering, what time do you think you'll be home today? And I'll be like, I'm on my way home now. And she's like, huh? What? Why? And then I got let go. And she's like, and that shock. Didn't know how to response from my wife was, it wasn't funny, like laugh out loud funny, but it was an interesting moment that we had where she was just kind of processing the information that she just heard from me. Because if anything else, I'm pretty stable. Like, I'm just a even keel, stable guy. So to hear that she was like, did something happen? Like, did you piss someone off? Whatever it is. And, but I thought that was a funny little side reaction that happened on that day. So why am I making this video? A, I wanted to share some of the clues that you may have your job in jeopardy. 2, I wanted to just B, I wanted to just share my story to kind of let people. I think there's a lot of people losing their jobs right now, and I think in the U.S. And I think it'll help to hear as they are hunting for other jobs, for example, another person's story. They might relate to it, they may not. You may relate to it, you may not. Or you guys, some of you, my usual subscribers, might genuinely be just interested in some of the details behind the scenes, right? Behind the reactor is a person that just underwent a episode of being unemployed. And I'm going to make a follow-up video now on my job hunt and how I succeeded in landing some job offers, not just one offer. Yeah, comment down below. How was your experience with when you were laid off last, if ever, or fired, whatever it is? Hopefully hearing me was entertaining at least. I'm not a very entertaining guy, so I apologize if it was not. Hopefully you gain something out of it. And hopefully you are inclined to comment down below and just kind of, whatever you feel like talking about. Just say, hey, haha, you suck to me. Or, hi, whatever it is. I can't even think of what people would say to this story. Luckily, though, I do have a follow-up planned for this one right after this video to just kind of outline the job market, my job hunting experience in process, and like I said, how I landed multiple job offers. All right. With that said, you have a great day, evening, morning, wherever you are, whatever time it is. Be safe. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.